I know you're asking yourself, hey, didn't you already talk about this? Yes, but I wanted to make sure you understood what scale we're actually talking about here, because these look a lot bigger in the package than they do out of the package. And you might be thinking, don't know. Well, let's find out. Here's one of my favorite ones. I like the maroon color of him. I've already talked about the blue one, I think, and how they come apart. And you can actually, rearrange them if you want to and put, like, I don't know, for some weird reason you like mixing up colors, you can go for it. I personally don't. But if you like, say, like the feet, which are all pretty much black, some of them you think, well, I like the way it looks, but I like the way it looks on a different robot, go for it. Since he's pointy, his toes are pointy. Since he's round, his toes are round. And since he's more boxy, his toes are more boxy. So it kind of fits my personal, what I think looks aesthetically good together. And I think that this fits the bill just fine the way it makes them. You might be thinking their arms are all the same. No, they're not. Their legs aren't all the same. Their arms aren't all the same. Their chests are not all the same. And if you look at the detail on the face, they're definitely not all the same. But I do like to look at that detail because I feel like I didn't cover that at all last time. And then you might be saying to yourself, well, how can I play with these with my other figures? Well, of course, the first thing might pop into your mind is that G.I. Joe needs some more bats. Now, they are a little bit shorter than the original Joes, and of course, they're shorter than the newer, not even the 6-inch, but the other ones. Wow, his muscles, he must have been working out. Just talking about something's on there, like sticky stuff. This is, of course, one of your more standard original G.I. Joes. So they're slightly shorter than those. They're more like 3.5 inches tall instead of 3 3/4. But I think they work fine in the same universe. If that bothers you, their legs do look shorter than they should be. If you put them like crotch to crotch, they're still about shorter. Legs, yeah, but the legs are, it's hard to explain. The legs are longer, but to me, just the way they look, if I had to fix something on them, well, I'd fix the elbows first off, is what I'd be fixing on them. But I don't know, I'd probably make the legs maybe more lengthy, but I think they're fine just like they are. You may think, well, don't you want them to be more big and menacing than the Joes? Do you really want them not to be able to sneak up on the Joes, or maybe go down tunnels and go after the good guys or bad guys, whichever way you're using them? Like I said, I think this is more like a Crimson Guard, and this is more like Cobra Commanders, Elite Brigade. And then I told you they remind me a lot of these guys right here. To a certain extent, the arms aren't articulated like these guys. They only have articulation that goes up and down, but no elbow articulation. The knees on this are articulated, and so are the knees on these guys. Do they stand beside each other pretty well? I think so. Actually pretty well indeed. You would think that they're cousins maybe, or something to that effect. So this is this is Soundwave from the Action Masters. And of course, this is, I don't know their names. I didn't know they had names until recently, and I'm like, I just kind of always like pretend like these are the Cobra Guards or whatever. I just kind of gave them new identities anyway. So if you want some more basic robots in your, Action Master universe, like you need more, I don't know, like even like, they're defeating a city of people and they're like fodder just laying on the ground. You can do that. You can be like, I've destroyed you, stupid Autobots. Like these are just people from Cybertron, and they never did come to Earth and get new shells or alternate forms or anything like that. So there's your comparison. And as far as these, again, you can see there's differences in the way they're made. This is more of the rounder type, more cylindrical type. This guy's more pointy. I like him a lot. I like his colors is probably what it is, but I also like his legs. They're very pointy. They also go skinny here and then big at the bottom again, which I do think is really groovy. He didn't come with a weapon in his hand. It's not like you can't put one in there. They all have the same slits in their hands. They all can be used interchangeably. I say that and then I'm having struggles. There we go. I just couldn't get it lined up correctly. And of course their weapons, for some reason, they're bent. So you're going to have to either do a fixture to them if it bothers you, which sometimes it may, or don't worry about it too much. And even though he didn't come with a weapon, he came with okay, so there's 2 attachments to him, 1 attachment to him, and then this guy's got 3 attachments. He comes with a gun, which looks pretty cool, I think. I think it's probably, out of the 2 guns, I honestly think this is the cooler gun. And they all come with these little things on their backs, but he comes with 2 on his back, so I feel like he's gotten all the weapons, he's got none. It just means that he's more of your heavy arms, he's more of your lightweight, that he is faster like a ninja maybe. You could pretend like that if you want to. Let's look at some of those fine details. And if you really wanted to use a marker on these, you could probably make it pop. Like seeing his chest, he's got some silver there. And of course his camera, or his eye if you want to call it that. But I would probably, I don't know, I'm thinking about getting the paint pen and bring out the details in this. Who's meowing? Why? That's weird. And I don't know about his gun right here, but if you wanted to bring out that, maybe put some silver paint pen on it, you could probably make it pop really nicely. It's more of a softer plastic, so if that really matters, then you might want to take that into consideration. It's not a brittle, hard plastic like the Transformers. It's more of a, like a, I know he's gonna hit the camera. I think you can see you can kind of bend it a little bit so it's more pliable, which it has to be for the balls to actually work. It's more of a PVC kind of plastic right there. And it's the same plastic though. It's not like they use two different things. I mean, these are like coming off the manufacturing floor. There's each one of these are just one piece. Of course, the chest is two piece to, you know, sandwich together to get all the optimum details in it. But I like the little pistons in the back of the feet, although honestly they wouldn't do anything because they would have to be attached to the foot to really make it do anything. So there are some nice little details that are in the mold itself, but don't in real life wouldn't do anything. And we already talked about the blue one, so let's look at some of the details on him. I like that right there. It's almost like gills on a fish. Some of his back details. Let me look at his back very carefully. He's got like a, almost like you could open this up and put a person inside of it. On his back, it looks more like, I don't know, like a machine recorder, or like, I don't know what that could be. He's got a lot of paint apps on his chest that really pop. They look really good. And then we got this guy who is in both sets. So, you know, look at him a little bit more closely in details. So I don't know, do you think that you would add some silver paint or some other color paints to make these things really pop? Now they're already using silver on the chest. Would you add some to the arms, legs, and other, maybe the back to make it, give it some more pop? Comment below, let me know what you would do, you know. There's more paint on these, of course, but this is a much harder plastic than these. These are more soft. I mean, if you threw them at somebody, they would, or throw it at the floor, they would probably bounce a little bit. These would just crack and break. So they fit really nicely with the Transformers in this scale. The G.I. Joes, they're shorter, but that doesn't matter. They're not supposed to, they don't have to be menacing. They can just be really sneakier. I always felt like these were bigger than the G.I. Joes, but they're not. These are more actually in scale with the Microman from 1999, which kind of makes sense because they reused a lot of the sets, well, the truck set for these guys to make Microman. And I think something else. No, that was a micro base. They made a micro base. Well, I'll do another video on this for another nice Saturday because these are longer and I don't know. It means these like they'd be more of a Saturday video.